everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Cynthia, and today we're creating some more ephemera for the Lady in Blue journal. Here you can see that I've picked up a vintage envelope as well as a library card, and we're just going to alter them very quick and easy, but just kind of to bring some interest to them and to make them a little bit prettier, I guess, and a little bit more useful in the journal. So I've assembled some pieces of fabrics and trims that I'd like to use possibly. The blue appliques there are actually a piece of what I intend to use on the cover. And then I had a little vintage trim, just some ribbons, a piece of lace, and just a couple other bigger pieces of lace that I could possibly use. And I've also gathered some scraps of papers just in case I want to collage onto the pieces. So first off, I'm thinking I'm going to be using, or I'm going to start with the library card since it's a little bit more straightforward and I have a better idea of what I want to create on there. And I'm just going to grab a piece of music paper. It's just a paper scrap that I had from creating all the other ephemera that we've been creating. And it seems to fit really nicely just vertically onto the library card. What I'm thinking is I want to use the library card and let it, the back of it is blank, so it can be a journaling spot, but I want it to be just a little bit prettier on the front while still keeping the information that's on there because it is a vintage piece of ephemera, so I want that to show through. So I'm thinking that that little scrap of lace might be just perfect as a top tab, and then I'm just trying to find another element that I can add to the collaging onto the front. I'm trying out this piece of printable, but I don't really like the cooler tone of it against the library card that's quite a bit yellow. So I'm just gonna test out some other ideas. I have a few wallpaper scraps that I'm thinking perhaps could work really well. And I'm just trying to make sure that it goes with everything we've already created. So here you could see the front cover, what I essentially am planning on doing. And I'm just grabbing out all the other pieces of ephemera that I've currently created for the journal. So the envelopes that we've done together, these two tags I've done off camera, and of course the tag and the little folder that we created together, as well as the envelopes. I'm just trying to make sure that the blue of the wallpaper is still going to be kind of looking nice with everything else, just because it was quite a bit of a different shade, and just wanted to make sure. And I'm actually going to be grabbing a few more pieces and trying to make sure that I have the right piece. And I do end up changing my mind on which piece I'm going to be using. That polka dot one is just so pretty, and it just seems to, the tones of it seem to work really well. So I'm interested in using this one. I'm going back to the other pieces, making sure that I've made the right decision before I rip the piece of wallpaper, just so that it actually fits onto the tag. And then I'm going to be using my fabric tack to glue everything together. now that the pieces have been glued onto the library card, what I'm thinking is I'm just going to be sewing through the top part, through the lace. And I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to wait until I'm done with the envelope as well, so that this way I can just sew everything all at once. And so here now I'm just looking at the envelope, trying to figure out, okay, what can I do with this? I've never altered an envelope before. I want to keep the envelope, I guess for it to keep its prettiness, and to still look like it's vintage, but just to add a little something pretty that just adds a little bit of something to it. And also it's not really functional anymore because it's ripped. So my plan is to make sure that the bottom, or I guess, well, the bottom of what you can see here and the side are shut, and so that there's only one way to insert things in it. And I'm just playing around with different pieces of fabric that I have collected, trying to see which ones could work best. I was really hesitant, and it took me a while to make up my mind on what I was going to be using. Ultimately, I thought that the white piece of lace was just going to be looking a little bit better, and especially against that blue flower. I've been holding on to that blue flower, to that particular fabric. I got that in a Happy Mail when I first started journaling, and Angela sent me just the most beautiful package, and I finally have decided to use it. It's a really hard, whenever you get something so special in the mail, sometimes it's really hard to kind of make that decision, and it can feel that, oh, I need to use it for something that's really special. So I've been waiting for that something very special for almost a year now, and it's finally has happened. I'm ready to use up the fabric finally. So here you can see I'm just going to be cutting a piece of that white lace because I don't need that big a piece, and then I'm just going to be placing it at the bottom. I'm just figuring out the best layout for that, and then I'm going to be trimming off just another little piece. I really hope you guys are all doing really well. This is going to be the last ephemera making video. The next video is going to be picking out some of the pages that are going to go into the journal, and following that is going to be a flip through of the completed journal. I'm really excited for this journal. I think it's one of my favorite that I've made so far. So it's been really fun. Just creating a ton of ephemera. I hadn't done that before, and it's been really fun to do that, I guess. Here I'm actually playing around with this piece of fabric. So I, oddly enough, prefer the way that it looks on the wrong side of it. I mean, like the side that is intended to not really be shown. I just like the texture that it has, so I am going to be placing it in onto the envelope that way. And I'm just trying to see how I'm going to be closing up that other side, but ultimately I'll be choosing to grab a piece of washi tape and just using that as I guess an adhesive for the two sides to stick together. I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing. I was really hesitant to cover up that writing, but I mean, it's only, if you're able to read what it says, it's actually only the address that it was going to. So it wasn't like it was a special message or anything, and you could still see a little bit of it through, as well as obviously you can see the writing on the front of the envelope, and I thought that was more important. And also just for the envelope to be functional was most important, and I didn't want to be using some glue, so I decided to cover up a little bit of that writing. And then I'm just using some glue to adhere the fabrics onto the envelope. Quite messily so. I got glue everywhere. I've been struggling with my glue bottle actually, because it'll come through too quickly, and then the air gets trapped, so it create, like, you know, when the glue won't stop coming out. This has been happening all week, so I'm you would think I would learn by now to simply go slower, but yeah, I seem to struggle with that, so I'm just getting glue everywhere. I'm just making sure that the little corners there are well adhered onto the envelope, and then to glue that blue flower, I'm just putting glue on the actual flower parts, not so much on the mesh. So now that I've done that, now I'm ready to use my sewing machine, and I'm just gonna sew through two of the sides there, as well as of course through the little tag. And that's really all I'm going to be doing to alter these pieces of vintage ephemera. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some ideas on how you can really quickly and easily alter some of those bits and pieces that you might have in your collection. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and make sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Bye now.